Greetings, readers and friends. Harvey Michaels here. I'm thrilled to welcome you to our adventure into Danshui, President Plunge, Book 1, Evacuate or Pay. It was an electrifying story to write, and I can't wait to share some with you today. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Your support means the world to me. Thank you kindly. Okay, here we go. Chapter 1, Coco. Instantly awake, escaping troubling dreams, the sole female among today's villainy opens her eyes. She tries to stay in bed for another few minutes, running through what she has to do. The biggest day of my life? Without a doubt it is. Stupid question. Her words echo in the one-room studio apartment. A single bed and a chest of drawers occupy the part of the room nearest the door. The rest is empty. Too antsy to lie down, she swings her legs off the bed and lithely stands up in one motion, resolving to leave her last thoughts back in bed. She turns and walks to the bathroom, moving her head and shoulders in circles to loosen up as she walks. She's mid-20s, but lissome as a teenage figure skater. That was what people saw, what they thought. But beneath the surface was another story, more dangerous. She stops biting her thin bottom lip to drink half a plastic bottle of water and begins brushing her teeth. She brushes and flings the water bottle upward as she saw yesterday on a diner TV. So the bottle somersaults in the air and lands on the bottle bottom. It lands perfectly on the toilet tank cover, over and over. She laughs to herself, a beautiful sound, at her knack for bottle popping. Teeth brushed, she downs the rest of the water and loudly burps. Though strikingly attractive, she doesn't look at herself in the mirror except to glance at her teeth. She chews on a fingernail until she remembers a voice from her childhood telling her that was a filthy habit. She starts gnawing on thin lips again, eyes darting, shrouded in anxious thoughts. She walks out of the bathroom across the empty half of the room. 4 sturdy hooks were drilled into the concrete ceiling. They are secure enough to hold refrigerators, spaced about a meter apart, forming a square shape of hooks. She waves her arms in circles and raises her gymnast ballerina thighs straight up to her chest, toes above her head with each step as she walks beneath the hooks to the chest of drawers. Outstretched, slender fingers open the top drawer. She takes out and puts on a long-sleeve top and matching cotton workout pants. Then she opens the bottom drawer and removes the only items there, velvet ropes resembling those that mark off areas in movie theater lobbies. The reinforced ropes have thick nylon loops secured at one end. 3 in one hand and 1 in the other, she carries the ropes back underneath the ceiling hooks. With the ease and grace of a snow leopard, she leaps up to the ceiling as few female or male athletes could. Mid-air, she places the first rope loop onto a hook and looks up again as she lands. She reminds herself, never miss the first time, and takes another rope. Then she leaps and gets the second loop on the second hook. Make each time like the first time. She jumps again, putting up the third rope, but she misses the fourth. Turning up her head, she chuckles out loud, "You're stalling. Get on with it." And then inwardly, "I'm just playing. Give me a break." Her mouth curls slightly in a gorgeous deformity that would cause men to trip. She is blessed with perfect dimensions between her nose, lips, and eyes, and her jaws and cheekbones are a model's ideal. Her slight flaws, any plastic surgeon would say, are perfect flaws. Without pausing, the girl grabs one of the blue velvet ropes and begins a series of slow climbs and descents, hand over hand, her legs held either perpendicular to the rope or slowly jackknifing up and down. She moves deliberately with controlled movements as smoothly as an anaconda. No expressions cross her face in a 10-minute drill few athletes could match. She controls her breathing and her facial musculature to preserve all possible calmness. Her desire to bite her lip is gone. Now all she wants is more burn in every possible muscle sinew of her body. She takes a break to breathe deeply and stretch her muscles while her heartbeat slows between sets in her 50-minute workout. She switches velvet ropes as they get wet with her sweat. Her palms have no calluses, though she's put her hands through even more strenuous exercise routines than this every day in the past 5 days she stayed in this room. Before that, they were as calloused as a weightlifter's, but velvet ropes and conditioning products to soften and exfoliate extremities gave her delicate-looking hands. Calloused hands wouldn't do for today's job. These now decalloused, sinewy hands could yank a man's arm out of its socket, and she has done so. Trained in martial arts and street fighting over long hours each day for nearly 20 years, very few people, men or women, could tangle with her. Nearly finished with her designated list of exercises, a scowl forms on her face, and she scolds herself for drifting to deliberate what might happen on this day. Later, now you are here. As a necessity, she has personal issues she keeps at bay, intractable situations best not stirred up. She puts the upsetting idea in a straitjacket, then in a safe, then drops it in a deep lake. Not in the ocean, not today. Huffing strongly to pronounce the moment past, she sits down and takes a full minute, recovering and wiping sweat. After several deep breaths, she makes her back straight and her stomach muscles hard, and turns from side to side with her legs wide apart in front of her. Her back pops on each twist as it adjusts itself into normal alignment, and she allows herself a groan of pleasure. Her eyes and mouth twist upward with a most pleasurable smile, and as on rare occasions, such as this biggest smile, her mouth comes open. On this day, she finishes by climbing the only remaining dry rope using no hands. She ascends and descends inverted, her body perpendicular to the rope wrapped around her calves and shins. One leg at a time she pulls and holds, switching to the other, up and down with practiced motions. Though her face reddens hanging upside down, she has no fear of slipping and crashing to the floor. She is too focused, too practiced. When she feels pain or fatigue, she remembers her real fears and the reasons she is so driven. She chose this physical training to prove she was not at the end of her rope. Her first martial arts teacher's voice teases, "You know, this little workout is nothing today. The big show is later. Just keep everything real. Make sure you're ready." She leaps up 4 times for the 4 looped velvet ropes. With hands on hips and one foot tapping, she pauses, leaving the ropes in a pile where they fell. Today is the first time she won't hang them up in the bathroom for the sweat to dry. Today is far from usual. It is the most unusual day of her life. And not just my life, but everyone involved too. She cringes, seeing it all. As if cramping, she struggles, barely able to regain control of her muscles or her breathing. She bends over and then kneels, battling swirling thoughts and images closing in. Once back in control, she lies on the tile floor, staring at the hooks until she stops sweating. After showering, she returns to the dresser cabinet and puts on a thin, peach-colored, ultra-modern wetsuit. There are 24 nylon zippers all over the wetsuit, vents to release heat on her legs and arms, her back, front, and sides. She leaves them all unzipped. Over that, she puts on a thick cotton undershirt which disguises the wetsuit. She is so slender, the extra layers only add ladylike curves to her beauty contest figure. Next, she slides on a flowered silk blouse, expensive but not in fashion, and a wool pantsuit, likewise not in vogue. Gray plaid print on a shiny, fine fabric is as fashionable as what would have been in a magazine. However, not in this millennium. She pockets a fake Rolex women's jeweled watch. Even to the untrained eyes, the obvious copy is cheap and gaudy. Her curious get-up is all for distraction. She grins, noting they are the most expensive clothes she has worn in her life. Her black medium-heeled ankle-high zipped boots are a beautiful, if unusual, style. But no one would pay attention to her feet. This young lady is cover-girl gorgeous. That she doesn't care about or pay attention to her own looks makes her even more alluring. Back in the bathroom, she opens a package with 2 flat bottles of makeup inside, each small bottle costing more than she earned some weeks. The expensive makeup colors her face, neck, and hands to a whitish but natural color. She thinks of it as war paint, applies it carefully. After it is on, she cannot help marveling at the transformation. She slips on the watch from her pocket over her whitened wrist. Last, she puts on blue contact lenses and looks at herself in the mirror to see if she positioned the lenses correctly. Everything in the apartment, clothes, velvet ropes, and bathroom stuff all go in a garbage bag. She is about to sling it over her back and head out when she smiles to herself. You almost forgot. She opens the 3rd drawer and takes out the only thing in it, a golden blonde wig, a very expensive wig made of human hair, permed in an afro style. It's perfect for some time in the last century, but in 2016 it is out of place, oddly round and thick. She already pinned her short hair up after her shower, and now she fits the curious wig on her head. Down on the street, she pops open a compact automatic umbrella from a counterfeit name-brand dated handbag. This strikingly attractive young lady, highly trained and deadly skilled, makes her way in steady wind and rain down the street to the MRT station. The girl called Coco is thinking about what she wants to eat for lunch, noticing usual street vendors are absent and many shops' steel doors are closed, but oblivious to the double takes she gets from many of the passers-by, especially the men. She does notice how harried everyone is, finally woken up to the urgency of their last-minute errands before they are tested in the fiery crucible of Super Typhoon Noru. They gave her money for a good meal and told her to eat plenty of anything she wanted. Her favorite Biendang bento box diner in nearby Ximending is not an option. She has to hurry and take the MRT to Danshui before all subways close for the typhoon. As if paying attention to her thoughts, her stomach pinches with hunger and she picks up her pace. That's it for today. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the reading this time. Please leave a comment if you did. What did you think? Remember, sharing is caring, so please do tell a friend who would like to join us here. If you are enjoying the journey, I'd be so grateful if you would be a supporter and pick up a copy of Danshui President Plunge on Amazon and leave a review. Until next time, take care. I look forward to seeing you here again. See you then.